The next problem, 19, asks about where the velocities of these two particles would be the same. Well, if these are positions, then of course to get the velocity, we would need to take the derivatives. So the derivative of sine of t would be cosine of t, or cost. And the derivative of e to the negative 2t minus 1, again, e to any power is its own derivative with the derivative of the exponent. So it's e to the negative 2t, and then the derivative of negative 2t is negative 2. So what we did here is we got these two graphs right here. When I subtracted one from the other, I knew that those two graphs would be equal wherever the value is 0. Because if you take two equal values, subtract them from each other, if you get 0, then they're equal to each other. So, let's look what we have here. They're giving us the domain of 0 to 10. So I'm going to change my window here. Let's see if it shows up better on the screen. I'm going to change my window from 0 to 10. And graph it. Now, if you look at that graph, you'll see that this crosses the x-axis 3 times. Therefore, my answer is there are 3 values where they have the same velocity. Final question. The region in the first quadrant is enclosed by the y-axis in the graphs of y equals cosine of x and y equals x. First thing I had to do was find where these two were equal to each other. So I graphed the two lines and I got that they were equal at 0.7391. Now, because it's bound by the first quadrant, I have 0 here. Okay. Next thing I needed to do was I needed to set it up. My outer radius here would be cosine, so this would be cosine of x squared. My inner radius would be right here, and it would be x. So I've got the integral of cosine squared minus x squared, and of course it's times pi because it's a rotation. When I plug this into the calculator, and graph it, this is what I come up with. Now, what I do from here is I plug this in and integrate it. So I'll go second calc, go to 7. I would have a lower limit of 0 and an upper limit of 0.7391. So I'll push enter, and it tells me that I have a value here of 0.48389. So I take that value and I multiply it by pi, and that gives me the value of 1.52.